Welcome to the Visioning and Goal Setting Illuminate podcast. My name is Derek, and I will be taking you through a few major points on the topic of visioning and goal setting. Before we get started, I'd like to briefly introduce the organization bringing this podcast to you, the Student Leadership Trainers, or SLTs. The SLT group works within the Office of Student Leadership Development. Our main purpose as trained leadership facilitators is to educate and train student leaders of campus organizations in an effort to improve the success of those organizations. This podcast should serve as a small taste of what to expect of an SLT workshop should you be interested in improving your organization with our help. Let's get started. Here's a brief outline of what to expect in this podcast. First, we'll start with our learning objectives, just so we're all on the same page. Once we understand the objectives, we can move on to the educational portion and discuss what a vision is, how to create one, the scope, etc. Then we will break that vision down and use goal setting to work towards attaining our long-term overarching vision. As with every workshop we facilitate, there is a list of learning objectives. By starting with these objectives, every participant knows what to expect from the workshop, and in fact serves as our goals as facilitators. For this specific workshop, the objectives are: understand what a vision is, what stretch and SMART goals are, and to be able to articulate the difference between the two. In most full workshops, these objectives would include more practical objectives tailored to your group. For example, not only would your group understand what a SMART goal is, but the participants would actively define actual SMART goals pertaining to your organization's vision. Here are a few definitions of vision. Which one doesn't belong in our discussion of the vision of your organizations? That's right. Although, if we successfully outline and achieve our goals, perhaps a trip to the best nightclub in Atlanta would be a great reward. From those two definitions, I find the words conceptual and foresight to stand out the most. Your vision should be a very conceptual idea. By planning ahead and thinking about the conceptual future of your organization, as the leader, you are exercising great foresight. When visioning, creating an all-encompassing statement is the main goal. It should be broad enough to include all major areas of your concern. Here's an example of a great vision statement. This statement has no specifics. What Steve Jobs does with this statement is he pushes his organization to continue to innovate and explore the unbounded possibilities of a specific area of Apple's business. Now that we have a mild understanding of what a vision is, we can move on to the next step in the process, goal setting. This is where the broad, idealistic vision can become a reality. The goals are the practical steps that can make your organization successful, if executed properly. The first type of goals are stretch goals. These are very closely related to the vision in that they should seem overpowering and unattainable at first glance. A stretch. These examples illustrate how a stretch goal should look and sound. Without any type of plan, if I handed you one of these goals and said go do it, you certainly might feel a bit overwhelmed. Don't be. These stretch goals are crucial and can in fact be realized with hard work and through the use of SMART goals. So what are these SMART goals? These serve as smaller, more manageable goals that will ultimately pave the way to becoming that Olympic gold medalist in curling. As you can see, SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Let's discuss each letter to better understand what makes a goal a SMART one. Unlike stretch goals and the broader vision, these SMART goals need to be very specific. There should be no ambiguity when it comes to what needs to be done and what succeeding at this goal looks like. This example is specific in that there are no ambiguities. So if your SMART goal is specific enough, it will need to be measurable. This is very important because in order to succeed step by step, success must be well defined. Again, this goal is measured by time. Perhaps it could be enhanced by measuring improvement from week to week through physical capability, emotional confidence, or decreased time for the same exercise. Not only does a SMART goal need to be specific and measurable, but it needs to be attainable. In other words, a single SMART goal should represent an incremental step toward that larger stretch goal. It must be reachable because SMART goals should be step-by-step incremental successes that will ultimately lead to reaching your stretch goals. Does this goal seem out of reach for a young, ambitious curler? When setting goals, there is a possibility of getting off track. Keep in mind relevancy. Your SMART goal should be very relevant to the larger stretch goal. In this case, the goal of practicing sweeping is relevant to someone looking to be a gold medal sweeper on an Olympic curling team. Is this goal timely? While not explicitly stated in the goal, it does set a time limit and expectation on the goal. The goal will be reached through sustained dedication to a practice schedule until the time of Olympic tryouts. You might argue that it takes more than 3 hours a week to make the Olympic curling team, but this example is just one of many SMART goals that would be necessary to realize that larger stretch goal. The bigger picture is that SMART goals are for incremental progress towards what seems out of reach. While this was a brief overview of what a visioning and goal-setting workshop would look and sound like, it is only a taste of a full session. In a live group facilitation, we will delve deeper into the meanings and differences between visions, stretch, and SMART goals, and spend a fair amount of time with your organization defining your specific goals. Thank you for listening. I hope this podcast sparked an interest in taking advantage of one of the best developmental resources on campus, the Student Leadership Trainers. For more information on scheduling your workshop and taking the next steps towards improving your organization, please email leader@lehigh.edu or visit our office in the club resource area on the second floor of the Ulrich Student Center. Thank you again. We hope to be working with you in the near future.